since Jim fixed it, as well as estimates. So I don't know if Garrett or Ed wants to talk about your thoughts on this and what you've done for research, but.
Good evening. So that quote I received, I just did that because this topic has been being beat around for a long time, and I'd just like to end it, decide it, so to speak, either way, with the board, whatever decision they decide. When he did the selectmen's workshop, the double block idea was thrown out there. And just seeing what I seen, being there every day and working there, I think you're just going to be throwing $3,000 at it, and you're still gonna have the same issue. You're going to lift blocks up as you scoop the bucket up. The estimate I think is a far cry from the 24/5 that was at town meeting, which also included somebody else doing site work. This one includes just the wall, and it would include the highway department digging a small trench and taking a section of the pad out to accommodate a new one. 7,500 versus 3,000 for blocks to me seems like a very fair, reasonable solution to maybe put this to bed. The whole idea of a backup ramp, I've never been for that. Like I've said before, we recoup a lot of things out of demo from cardboard to metal, and that goes back, to make more profits. So obviously, this is all your decision. I just want to give a little bit of feedback how I thought on that. I know there's reserve money left in transfer accounts from past projects. I don't know how all that works or whatnot, but if that's something that could be looked at, then maybe that's the route that can go. The leftover capital that's there, that's for transfer, but it has to be approved by a board. Other than that, like I said, I just think double blocks is just going to be repeating the issue we had. Maybe it takes a little longer, but I think they're still going to keep falling and breaking over time, scooping up. To me, that's a fairly good price on, the wall. I worked to revamp different sizes, heights, and whatnot, and really fine tune it. Where that would be, say, in the spring, if it were to go to, say, another town meeting or whatnot, I don't know if that price would be there, as costs keep going up. That's just my thoughts.
In that putting that wall in there, are they gonna put something behind it so it doesn't fall forward?
So behind it, I don't know, I gave a picture to Adam earlier, I don't know, it'd be 3 buttresses on the back of the wall. It'd be 5 foot high, one in the middle, one on each end, kind of like a, jolting off the back. The wall would be 8 foot, it would go a foot in the ground to match the existing slab, which is a floating slab, it's not frost wall protected. So if we pinned to that slab on the back, 3 buttresses off the back, and then you would step up coming onto the existing concrete wall for the sides and pinned into the side with 4 foot high, 8 foot out.
So was it 24 feet wide?
28 wide.
28.7.
So, and originally, the original quote from town meeting was 17.5 just for the wall. And that was a 30-foot wall. And that was including putting a footer in all the way around, which, you have, like a frost wall footer all the way down 4 foot. This would just be on the back, like I said, stepped up on the sides, shortened a foot, because I figured them blocks are already this wide. And if you're adding half the thickness of a wall, your inside diameter is only 26 anyway. So if you build a 28, you're going to be back to the same thing. So that's why it was shrunk down. And then the sides originally were put up at 8 foot, which they didn't need to be at 8 foot. They're at about 4 foot now, 4.5 foot, 2 blocks. So I just tried to fine tune everything and just really dive deep into it. And actually the original quote only had 1 buttress in the back center, which wouldn't really prevent anything from pushing the corners in. So this is actually a more structural design. Like I said, the foot would be cut off the existing slab where it's kind of chewed up, and that's where the new back wall would go. Put in 7 foot above the existing slab, which is what we have now. And then highway would do that work. They would move the existing dirt pile behind it. You know, this is what I discussed with Adam. This is strictly a concrete quote. You know, and then after it would be filled back in, so you'd have all that force behind it. So when you push, you're gonna have all that dirt there, just like it is now.
So we have those concrete blocks there now. I mean, is that something that you can get 2 on each side of the middle buttress to help as far as force? So when you're driving into it, put those behind it along with the fill?
I mean, you could leave them behind there if you chose to go with the wall. I don't know. Are you talking about eliminating the buttresses?
No. But you're gonna have one on each end, right? And then one in the middle?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
In between the middle and the left one and the middle and the right one.
No, you could definitely put those
Just to
there.
help keep
And
it
then
stable.
you could put them there and fill them in with dirt, because you've got a buttress on each corner, one in the middle, and you could fill them in with blocks and then dirt on top, and they could be,
But I think you're gonna put something in there to hold it from coming forward.
what's coming forward?
Yeah,
That's what the buttress.
I mean, they take them, you know, you see them along the road, and
Yep.
if they aren't tied back in with rebar or.
Well, they're all tied in with rebar. It's like,
Well, I'm saying behind it.
right, the buttresses are same down into the ground a foot. The buttresses are pinned to the back wall, all 3 sections, and then they're pinned to the side wall, and then they're pinned into the slab, and then they're pinned down in the ground. So it pins into the existing slab, it goes around the back. So everything is all interconnected, so that there is no chance of like falling forward per se. It's all pinned and formed in, and then, you know, concreted in. So it's all rebarred in. Which I can't remember the diameter and all that, but he broke it down on the quote, the side ones, the back ones.
Well, the way it looks, I mean, you're saying you're gonna take a foot out of the slab that's there, right?
Yes, because the back is kind of all chewed up, and there's a section on the top that is messed up. It's just one cut across.
Right, but I mean, you aren't gonna, but he's saying he's gonna pin it to the existing slab, so he's gonna drill on the end of that slab in and run rebar up.
You're gonna drill, there's gonna be a foot taken off the back, so you have access to the full back of the pad.
Yeah.
Forms there, and it's all pinned into that and up the wall. The same concept as they did when they did the emergency repair on the recycle building. They put all the rebar in first, pinned it in, drilled it in, pinned it, and then they built the form around the rebar.
Well, that is the least expensive way out of it. I ain't arguing that with you, but I'd still just assume you did a road. I know you ain't got any money to do it. Or do you have money to do it?
I mean, there's money in the Fund 701, the reserve account. There's some money left in the, as Garrett just mentioned, there is some money left in the transfer station reserve account.
How much? Crazy question.
So the transfer station has about 12,000 left in it.
What was that going towards?
So some of that is leftover money right now. There's about $6,000 that's encumbered at the moment. I did not bring my thorough notes on that, but I can.
6 out of the 12?
No, there's 12 available.
Oh.
There's really a balance of 18.
That's just remaining capital money, is that how I understand that? That's what that reserve account is from projects that all of it wasn't used, is that how that account works?
How much is that load away that you guys are using to load that? We just bought it, so we must roughly know the weight on that.
I think it's 26.
I mean, I'm not super comfortable that although they're gonna pin it, they're probably gonna drill in, take rebar, come out and bend it up.
Yes,
Before the,
Yes.
I'm not super confident that that'll be enough. It's a little bit of a concern, pushing it, doing what we're doing, pushing against it. But, I'm sure that Michael knows better than I do what concrete can
Right.
do. But that would be a concern.
I'm not a concrete guy either, but I certainly have a concern that somebody is gonna hit that too hard. And
We're back here,
I mean, what,
fixing the wall.
what's
Oh, back in, yeah.
what's the warranty on the wall? Is there probably not gonna be any warranty if you.
no, I don't think there'd be any warranty on the, foundation, but
Oh,
I mean,
if it just.
I think if somebody's hitting that hard, then we probably have an issue.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I think the concept and issue I find with the blocks, it doesn't necessarily push them form blocks back we have, it's the seams that you grab onto every time, and every time you just keep moving a little more, a little more, a little more. With the wall, yeah, it's pinned in, anything takes a risk of damage, sure, but it's a smooth seam, but again, if anybody is ramming into that, I mean, there's really no place, to do that. I mean, you should be able to just go in, not like a church mouse or something, but go in and just curl your bucket up and scoop up and back up.
I mean, the whole idea of trying to move 2x4s with a bucket loader, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I ain't saying this might temporarily solve the solution, but I don't think it's gonna cure the problem.
I think most things are picked up easily. Vinyl siding is the thing that's challenging. Everything else goes in pretty well, whether it's mattresses or
I
furniture.
mean, why would you be so concerned that if the guy drove up there and backed up the thing, threw the stuff in himself? What's the real issue?
Well, I think there are safety issues, and I think it's an unnecessary cost that, we have all the equipment, we have all everything around us to be able to run the current system that we've run for a long time, just to scoop up.
Just because we run it a long time don't mean it's the right way to do it.
Well, I think it's worked for a long time,
Well, I get it.
I just can't see spending, that kind of money, and the layout we have down there to build such a ramp is really not.
I mean, it's gotta be somewhere other than that anyways, I believe, right, Ed?
Right.
If you
Well,
was,
then in
if
the,
you was doing the ramp thing, but
you can't do it could you do it where it is right now?
yeah, the wall is, yes, but I don't think the ramp you can. You're gonna be able to have the cars then back up and get out.
So let's back up a little bit. We're, not that I'm totally against the ramp idea, but let's look at this first and see if this is something we wanna do, and if it's not, then we can discuss a ramp.
Well, I think he's saying that he's gotta do something now. I don't know. Could you get by with blocks until another town meeting?
I mean, I think we probably could, yes, but like I said, is that $7,700, $7,500 quote gonna be the same in 6 months? I don't know. Is the blocks we have now, the wall is already only about 5 feet high versus 7, because when they just rebuilt it recently.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some that, so couldn't go a whole layer up,
I mean, it really it seemed like this developed a lot worse once we got the new loader.
It existed before. They rebuilt it with the other loader as well.
I think the big saving is the stuff that we're picking out of that pile every day, bringing up a load of cardboard or, because people come in, they'll pay a set fee for demolition, which I'll throw an example, Steve Roderick, he don't wanna pick his load. He'll come in, he'll pay the $260, dump it. My guy goes down and picks all that stuff out and hauls it to the recycle bin, which we're making cash on.
Are we making enough to have a guy down there picking through someone else's garbage? Couldn't we tell that guy when he comes in, he's gotta put the cardboard over there?
Yeah, but he's paying, that's what I'm saying, he's paying for a non-recycled demo fee, $260 a ton. And it's just, it's making us cash. I mean, we got 72 bales of cardboard built up there right now between what Ernie brings in and all these other people bring in, but the prices are up. So we're sitting on it.
Real quick, Mr. Conrad, if you
Yeah,
have.
I just got a question on this. I know a lot of the guys down at Main Waste, because I've been down there the last 5 years, because I worked before in construction, I bring a lot of stuff. Has anybody ever thought, maybe food for thought, of finding out whether or not that bucket loader has the capability or the accessible for hydraulic of a gated thumb to be able to help these guys? As you back dragging and clamp it, as they're talking about, the vinyl siding, scooping it up, I mean, has everybody thought about that to help anybody else out?
I would tell you that that's never been brought to this board.
I mean, so
Actually, we
to
talked
me,
about it.
as being a machine operator,
But as
We
far
talked
as
about
the
that at the
proposal on
workshop.
purchase, we didn't want to do that.
Yeah, we did talk about it at the workshop. A grapple bucket, the material in them, yeah.
I mean, it's just like running a mini excavator, which I do, very easy, makes the job a hell of a lot easier.
The only question I have is if there is interest in doing this $7,700 wall, is where the money's coming from out of those funds, and to make sure they weren't designated for something else that's gonna get weighted on, so.
It's left over from the bailiff, the bathroom, all money that we appropriated is left over.
Yep, so the baler, we only spent about 160 on that. And then, let's see, we didn't spend all the money on, well, we didn't spend really any money on the golf cart except for some minor repairs. We had set aside about $2,500 from years ago.
In your opinion, there's, that
Yes,
$7,700 is there if we. I don't have any other questions, I don't know if anybody else does.
I guess my question is longevity, like putting this money out. Is this gonna be an issue in another year?
I don't feel it would be. I mean, I've seen similar setups with recycling centers, that have corrals of concrete, whether they use for glass or everything else. I've been up to Norway, Paris, and they have inside bays. In my recycling center, I have bays for mixed paper, cardboard. I'm in and out of that all day with my Caterpillar loader, pushing up against that, and there's not even a crack in any of them walls. And them are several years since I've been. I mean, they're solid up, and, like I said, all I wanted to do with this, I'd like to put it to rest either way to figure it out. I just didn't want to throw $3,100 in blocks at it, and we have the same issue.
Sure.
And we just wasted that money, and I'm looking at $3,000 to $7,700 is not a mass amount of money, and we have the allocated funds, if the board do so approve them, so obviously it's in your hands, food for thought, but I just wanted to give my take on what I see and, how I operate into the walls in my building, and, I mean, you're more than welcome to come look at them. I mean, there's no cracks or anything.
Well, I get your deal, but your loader is considerably smaller than that one.
It is smaller, yes. My wall doesn't have, dirt and blocks behind it either, So you're gonna have a lot of weight behind that, like there is now. You're not gonna have the seams as you scoop up. I just feel this would be a longevity thing, and I can't see how it's gonna really go anywhere. That's, and I could be totally wrong. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if you're really wrong. I mean, you know.
Just from what I see and how I've operated things and what I visualize, it seems like it would be the way to go as far as scooping things up. And I just don't foresee an issue of, pushing into it and it going anywhere.
Can I ask a silly question?
Sure.
This
No question.
transfer station's obviously been a hot topic over the past 24 months, right? If we get this in, what are the townspeople gonna be asked for this year as far as any capital improvement or anything going forward?
I wanna paint the buildings, but that's the only thing.
I could live with that request, maybe.
What's that?
I could probably live with something like that,
That's-
but there's nothing major. Obviously,
Everything is good right now.
the buildings overall are in decent shape, doors, whatever it is.
We all know overhead doors. We got the problem with going into the office, but I talked to Adam about that, and we think we can get a bid on that and get that fixed through the regular money. this year.
So what, money that's in the budget for this year already, nothing to do with this reserve.
Operating account, yeah.
So what would this reserve money be earmarked for if we don't use it? Just continue to be a reserve and that's it?
I'm sure we'll spend it.
So as a reminder, I don't remember exactly how much, I don't know if you have it, so the wall was brought to town meeting at a different price. It was substantially higher, and that was voted down by the taxpayers.
It was 17,524.
This is a lot less,
whatever.
but I don't know, I'm not really trying to sway anybody one way or the
Right,
other.
it was
I just
also-
want to remind everybody that this wall was voted down at a much higher price.
How about we get by with what we got for the time being, bring it to another town meeting and give them the option? Let the taxpayer vote
If that's a motion and somebody wants to.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that, just so we can get the comment.
The price might not be there again the next year though, so we're saying.
I understand that. It's really, this is one of those things that the five of us will decide. Do you want to let the taxpayers decide? Or we're gonna do it at this price.
I think we all let the
It was
taxpayer.
defeated in June. The price was considerably higher.
Let me ask you this, when we went to the taxpayers to approve it, it was above and beyond what we had in the budget. In other words, that's like in addition to what we're
Yes,
budgeting.
it would have been.
We're taking this money out of the budget.
We're taking this money out of money we already have.
Correct.
Much like we've done for other things. That's already been
Well,
approved by the taxpayers.
the only, I mean, I'll be honest, the reason I would consider it now is the fact that we're taking it out of reserve fund, we're not asking the town to, it's already been money that's been allocated for something. We're not asking the town to come up with another $7,700.
I agree.
That's
We did that
the only
with
reason
lots
I'd
of
be in favor of
things
it.
before.
Yeah, this is out of a reserve account, not the fund balance. The fund, if you were to ask me to take 7,700 out of the fund balance, it'd be a hard no. Absolutely.
Well, I just think the 7,700, whether, you know, we can call it what we want, it is taxpayers' money.
It is, absolutely.
It's already budgeted for the transportation.
It's taken up.
Well, it is, but if
Taken up
if we're not sure that it's a great thing to do,
Well, I guess that's the question, you know, if we don't believe that it's gonna work or it's not the right solution to the problem, then certainly we would vote on it. I think they make a good case for it being a solution, you know. We don't know if it's gonna, you know, nothing's guaranteed. The ramp system isn't a bad idea, Floyd. It's pricey and I think that needs a lot more thought too. I wouldn't wanna wing that, and I'm not saying we're winging this wall, but we're kind of winging this wall. It's not really an engineered wall, it's just
no.
Mr. Boning, it's like, who has experience with it, saying, hey, this will work. So we can't do the same thing with the ramp, I don't think we can do the same thing with the ramp, we have to figure out how it fits in there, and that's gonna be, I'm out more.
Well, I think it would, but it might be the end of the problem.
This is a little bit of a gamble.
I don't think it's any more of a gamble than that. I've never seen cement.
Oh, no, I
and
think this
crack.
wall's a little bit more of a gamble than.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And I think that if we would have presented this to the town at 7,700 instead of 24,000.
It's already built.
Any other discussion?
That's what I think.
All those in favor of the quote 7755? All those in favor?
That's not your motion.
The motion was let the taxpayers vote on
Oh, that's great.
Uh-uh.
You gotta,
So
you
can
talk
we
me
go on
into it.
higher?
Correct. The motion is to not approve this purchase and to let it go to the next town meeting. All those in favor of that motion? All those opposed? The motion is defeated.
I'll make the motion, to go ahead and move forward with the quote that they have for the 77.
The money.
With the reserve.
With the, using the money left over from the capital reserve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed?
money to paint that building before?
It was in the budget, but when the bathroom come up, they made me pull it out.
Wasn't there something we appropriated money for that didn't get done there years ago?
There was,
I know we've got a meeting house that
Yeah.
we appropriated money in there, we haven't got painted yet, but
that was a long time.
okay.
5.2, accept a $2,500 anonymous donation to the Police Air Reserve.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? All those in favor? So vote. 5.3, review and approve the municipal letter of approval for American Legion Post 112 fundraising poker tournaments. So,
Second.
motion and discussion, motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor? Vote. 5.4, review and discuss town debt service. Continue.
This is just a continuation from a conversation that we had recently, a spreadsheet in your packet. So we kind of discussed the thought process of paying off some of the smaller debt, such as the John Deere loader at the Public Works Highway Department, the mini pumper for the fire department, and then the ambulance for the fire department. So just as a reminder, we haven't actually finalized the lease on the ambulance because it's not, it's on order, but it's not far enough along in the process to actually do the lease on it. So in total, we're talking about $518,000 if you add up all of those three items together that would need to be paid. In addition, what we would be paying for financing. If all three leases were paid off by the end of this November, for instance, the estimated interest that we would save would be about $37,000. If the funds were left in the bank and the interest could be earned at our current 4% interest rate, we would earn about $25,600. So the difference between the two is $12,000. So if we paid them all off versus if we didn't pay them, there's a $12,000 difference in the interest. I will say I have had a conversation with the auditor to talk about this sum, just to seek his input and thoughts on the whole thing. And, face value, I'll say I really like the idea of paying off debt and getting rid of debt and not having it there. But at the same time, the thought of dumping $500,000, out of our bank account is concerning at the same time. One of the auditor's points was, if we absolutely want to use the funds we have on hand rather than raise and appropriate it at town meeting, there's nothing that says that we couldn't make those payments each year and just allocate it from funds we already have on hand. And the thought process is if we do that, it gives us a little bit more financial security cash-wise. And also, if we needed to use that money for something else in an emergency, we would have it. We wouldn't have to necessarily borrow it. And also, if we needed to get another bond, the more cash we have on hand, the better our rating is and the better interest rate we could get. So I will admit the auditor somewhat swayed me in the direction of not paying. My thoughts would be to not pay it all off all at once and make the payments just so we have some of that cash on hand. So if we did look at paying these moving forward, my recommendation would certainly be that the ambulance and the loader would come from, regular debt service, but then we would pay for the mini pumper through the TIF funds, because the mini pumper is an upgrade to our capabilities of the fire department to service the TIF district, which falls within parameters of something you can use TIF for. So I guess so. Putting all that stuff out on the table because we wanted to have this discussion about the debt service. I don't know that Will can necessarily make a decision tonight or anything.
But we've already, on the, the loader, we've already appropriated money to pay that, pay the payments on it this year,
To make the payment this year, yeah.
The other ones we don't have, correct?
Don't have what?
We don't have the mini pumper or the ambulance yet.
We've not taken delivery of that yet, correct?
what would it be, how about we pay off the John Deere and not tax them on, so, would that, is that gonna come or does it make a much difference?
Yeah, I mean, so, I'm just looking at my notes here. So the John Deere, we're gonna be making what you're seeing for a payment left over here.
Mm-hmm.
We've already raised and appropriated this year's payment, so I've already deducted that. So we're gonna be, if we wanna pay it off right now, it's $137,000 to pay off the John Deere. So,
But you've already deducted what's in the budget going towards it, appropriated for that,
Right.
correct?
From the 198.
so the total finance for the John Deere
Yes,
is $296,000.
right.
And our first payment was, 70 something thousand, 76,000, whatever it was. So we've already made some of our payments, and that's all that we have left. So I believe we made this will be our second payment on the John Deere this year. So the remaining payments, if we financed it for 4 years, is 137. Sorry, it took me a second to get there.
Right, so in other words, if you took what you owe on the John Deere and you deducted what you've already got out there and took the rest of it out of the year, would that, it's paying down something.
Mhm.
It's not biting the whole apple, but the other ones, we don't even really know, well, we got quotes on financing, but the way things have been going, was there a guarantee on the financial rate on the other ones?
Right, so the mini pumper, we already have financing on that because there's a chassis with a VIN number and so forth for that. So we've already initiated the lease on that one. And we should be taking delivery of that, I hope, in the near future. The ambulance, however, doesn't have a VIN number yet, so we haven't started that yet.
I'm a big fan of paying it off. $12,000 is $12,000. I'll take the money all day long, save it.
So the only reason I would caution that is that we need to make sure that we look at our cash flows, throughout the year, the lowest time of the year, which is now, actually right before we started receiving taxes. Because we've been spending more money, the town has been spending more money over the last few years, our bank account is, getting so that our low point, like this year, our low point was $1.4 million. Now, that may sound like a lot of money as an individual, but for a town with a $14 million, annual budget, including schools and debt service, that's not a lot of money. So if we start, I want to be cautious how much we bite at that apple. So if we're gonna do one, sure, that makes sense, I understand, but I would be cautious of going.
Where's the 137,000 going to come from if we choose to pay that, or any of it? If we're gonna, what?
I think the only place that we have to turn would be the Fund 701, which is the fund balance policy account, which has the 596.
Well, why can't we use the TIF money?
You could use some of the TIF money to do the mini pumper.
Why can't you use it for the loader?
Because when you look at what the TIF can be used for, the loader was a replacement of an existing piece of equipment that does not service the TIF district. So it's not part of the TIF. So you believe me, you're talking to the guy that's pretty creative with TIF stuff. So I'd love to see that happen, but I don't think that it passes a straight face test personally. Just like with the ambulance was destroyed when it was hit head on, and we're replacing an ambulance with an ambulance. Now, if we were buying a third ambulance, not that I'm suggesting that, if we were buying a third ambulance because the population of the TIF district had, increased so much, we needed a third rig, then we could talk about using money potentially to buy that.
Even though it's existing, it covers the TIF district as well. The ambulance needs to go to places in the TIF district, casino.
But wasn't there supposed to be for infrastructure, that TIF deal? I mean, you could use that for infrastructure, correct?
You can use TIF monies for some infrastructure, yep.
Wouldn't the loader be considered part of taking care of the road?
So
Like
In my
he's creative.
opinion, no, and in the attorney's opinion, no. I've had this conversation with with the town attorney specifically, because I wanted to pay for all of these things with TIF money. And, I was told that what I'm regurgitating right now is what the town attorney has said to me, and I agree with what she said, that the ambulance and the loader are not, I don't think they fit the TIF, but that's just my opinion and the attorney's opinion. But the mini pumper does, however.
What is the main one? And the ambulance, maybe that.
I mean, I would think the ambulance and the mini pump would be on the same page.
Because the mini pumper is a new piece of equipment that has new capabilities, it didn't exist. And so it's now offering a service to the TIF district that didn't exist before, so we can better take care of it.
That's a great line.
Now, do we have any update on bumper? I mean, I feel like for a couple months now, it's just been, we're waiting for an update. I mean, is it still just waiting for an update?
For the mini pumper?
Yeah, didn't it have to be repainted or something?
Yeah, but they painted the chassis the wrong color and they had to repaint it, and that's where we're at. So
No rough timeline still?
it was supposed to be here by now, so I'll get back to you with hopefully a delivery date.
'Cause I'd be for that with TIF money. I think, I like the idea, but I think we have to tread slowly instead of draining too much at once. I'm all for canceling that out, but maybe in a slower fashion.
Well, if you took the TIF money and did the ambulance, and you just, I mean, the mini pump, that's what fits in there. Can you, and you did the John Deere, we took the John Deere out of the $500,000, is that gonna put you feel comfortable with that?
All of this money, it may be on this spreadsheet, it's, cut apart into fund balance policy, or it may be in, the cow account that was just
Yeah.
donated to, but it's all one checking account. And so we've had enough expenses out of that checking, we're not in a scary place, it's just that we're at a low point in the year. And I wanna make sure that our cash flow never dips below, we really actually wanna have more cash on hand at the low point of the year. We've all talked about this before. So that way if Walmart decides not to pay the
But
tax,
you're basically telling me you don't feel comfortable doing it.
I would prefer not to do that.
What's your recommendation, Rick? Like for right now, do we table this for a couple months? What do you?
I think that if you guys are comfortable, I think tabling it would be great. I think we have more discussions about maybe what we feel or the board feels, and we revisit the fund balance policy and look at what we feel the policy should be on the bank account balance. And maybe we dive into that a little bit more, and then we make a decision on what debt to pay off, so that we're all on the same page.
The lawyer said he didn't think it would pass the straight pay test. Did he give you a direct answer? I mean, I ain't big on paying somebody not using their advice, but if a gray area is
So here's how that
not a
works.
good answer for a lawyer.
We could say we wanna use TIF money to buy
The ambulance.
an ambulance, sure. We use TIF money to buy the ambulance. Nobody's gonna care until we have to pay the piper at the end when they come and they audit the TIF, that TIF is like 15 years out. So maybe none of us will care, but if the town has misappropriated money from the TIF, we'll have to make up the difference at the end when the state audits us.
We can pay ourselves back. We can pay back to the TIF account.
Right.
I'd rather do it straight.
So would I,
So you're just borrowing money from the TIF account.
which is bad practice.
Right, exactly.
Why?
Why?
I see where
There's
he's
no
going.
interest.
I see where he's going, so if we purchase the ambulance, and then whenever 15 years from now, they say, no, you really shouldn't have purchased that ambulance, what happens? We have to pay back the money we used to buy the ambulance, or is there a penalty on top of that? Is there a fine? Is there a fee? Is it just we're gonna have a number here, or do you know?
On what?
on repaying that ambulance, that they say 15 years from now, we shouldn't have purchased with TIF money.
The ambulance payoff, if we wanted to pay the difference on the ambulance, we're talking $256,000.
So if the audit comes back in 15 years, and I'm trying to, I see where Phil's going,
It's interest-free
and they
money.
say, no, you couldn't use that money. You weren't supposed to use that money for that ambulance, for whatever reason.
I would highly advise you against doing that.
Well, I'm not trying to break the rules.
Yep.
I find it very hard to believe that our lawyer, can justify using a mini pumper, which we would use probably much less than you're gonna use that ambulance in the TIF district, ever. You're gonna use that ambulance daily in the TIF district. But because it's replacing an old ambulance, that doesn't count. That does not make sense to me.
Well, then before we make that decision, why don't we invite the lawyer to do a conference call?
I'm good with that idea.
Hear it right from the horse's mouth.
I like to, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I don't have a
I
problem.
I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else, but
I still like borrowing interest-free money. I could give two horses less about if the ambulance has upgrades and a certain percentage of the upgrades could be taken out of the, because that's what we're coming down to. We're really splitting hairs here. You could say that ambulance has more upgrades than the original, so therefore it's improved the responsibility of that ambulance, and you could justify it that way. I would just say, what is, if any, penalty at the end of all this if we use all the TIF money? If we're just borrowing money from the TIF account, and then in 15 years, we say, well, we couldn't use that $200,000 out of there. We had it interest-free. We're talking $12,000 a year that we gain, and we pay ourselves.
The 12,000 is for the life of the notes. So that's, still, it's money, it's real money,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that. But,
How many years, what's the left I know?
we got, what, 2 years left on the, 2027, so that's when these come under.
So if we wanna have a conference call with a lawyer, why don't we do that? And then, but the thing is we don't need a decision tonight. This is something, how long has some of this stuff been going out, for a year or two?
Mhm.
And now we're just discussing it, that if we wait to use the TIF money for the mini pumper, if that's what we legally can do with no qualms about it, and none of the townspeople, hopefully I'm still here in 15 years, but I don't have to worry about it as a resident, coming up with any extra money or even replacing face value, if we just do it right now. And we can make that decision maybe within 60 days.
I'm good with that. I'd really like to see it in black and white why we can't buy that ambulance. And how much money's in the TIF right now? I mean, if we're talking, there's not enough to buy the ambulance and the pumper, then it doesn't matter anyway.
There is, yeah. I am sorry, I don't have the TIF rate in front of me.
When this comes back, if we
We'll have that balance for you.
allocated
Adam, what's the total that we're talking about paying off again? I'm sorry, I got 11 different numbers written here.
If we paid off all three of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 518.
And we're gonna pay that off regardless by 2027.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll set up sometime maybe in November, see which day that she's available, which one of the meetings that she can phone in. That work for you guys? All right. Excellent.
5.5, authorize quick claim deed, 40 Weatherbrook Road, account 1696, tax years 1998, 2006, 2007.
In short, the explanation on this is there was tax liens on the property in those 3 years, and the liens weren't discharged, so we need to do a quick claim deed for these in order to release the town's interest in those. The taxes have been paid those years, so they're trying to sell it, and somebody's trying to buy it, and this came up in a title search.
So it's all paid and they just never took the lien out.
Right, those tax years are paid.
Motion to authorize the quick claim deed.
Second.
Discussion,
You good with the manager signing it?
all those in favor? Department head report, transfer station.
We already had it, but go ahead.
He wanted an update on the fee, as far as people talking about the fees and whatnot. I've only had like 3 or 4 different people that have taken their mattresses back home with them. You know, they didn't like the $30 fee. I said, it's just what it costs us. You know, it's the way it is. And I've had no really arguments. I've had one gentleman that had a problem with dumping glass in the hopper, and I told him that was unrecycled trash, and he was gonna pay for it, and he called me a Trumpist, and out the door he went. I mean, I'm trying to go by the rules, and I think everything's running smooth. I don't know if anybody's been in lately, but we painted some lines on the roadway, because people running into the side of the building. And,
I don't know how to drive.
I just scrape the wall, they do more damage to their vehicle than they do to our wall, but,
But that's where you guys put up that reflective like stripe stuff with the.
we got lines going out now so they can see them before they make the corner, that they know there's a yellow line there not to be cut, so. But we do have the reflective stripes. But as far as, I believe as far as the demo fees and all that, I have not really had much feedback as far as negativity. I think we've collected around $30,000 already, so.
We're not finding, more trash or anything on the sides of the roads anywhere or anything like that, right?
Have you drove up the Swamp Road?
I haven't actually. Any more is normal.
It's there every year regardless of whether the fees are up or not.
But I can tell you right now, there's 42 tires up there. There's a bureau up there. There's piles of trash at the turnaround. Yeah, so this one road is worse than it usually is. Right now. I'm not saying it's all because of the
I was
fees,
thinking,
but
you
they
think
gotta do
it's-
what they gotta do.
Any effect of that?
What's that?
You think it's any effect of the price increases? Or is it just the way it is?
The tire increase, I don't know what that increase
Is it
is.
increased? Stay the same?
So, probably not. It just,
It is.
people too lazy to go to the dump and not want to pay anything either.
If the townspeople could have it, they'd have the dump open 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. Because, I mean, they show up at 3 minutes of 4 most every day.
Sure.
You know, on Sunday, it's 5 minutes of 12. We get out of there at 12:15. As far as the recycling building, everything is going very smooth up there. Garrett's doing one heck of a job. We've got all kinds of cardboard built up. The price went down, and I said, I'm not selling it to you guys. I'm gonna hold on to it. I got enough room in there. We've got 2 loads sitting in there right now to go out, but I'm not gonna give it to them at $25 a ton. No, when it was coming $125 a year ago. Tin cans are out back. We got 23 or 24 bales of them, and the price is down to $80 a ton. I mean, I see it 200 here a year ago, so I'm just sitting on it. We got plenty of room to sit on it. As far as I know, you got the letter from DEP back 3 or 4 months ago, and we had a very clean bill of health, and they was very happy with the way things were running. I think the townspeople, a lot of people come in and said how nice the place looks, and just as you go in the gate, we had some extra wood left over, and he made a little flower garden, and Brian Hall come down and put flowers in it all winter, all summer. And people
That's nice.
comment on that thing, you know?
What did you say about glass?
The glass,
Doesn't go in the hopper?
it goes in the hopper, but this guy was bringing like 800 pounds at a time, and I asked him,
Like building glass?
well, he was cleaning up the property that he bought off you guys. This was all just like glass bottles on his property, but I mean, he'd come in 6 or 7 times at 800 pounds a time.
55-gallon drums of glass.
He'd dump it in my thing, and I asked him, you know, nicely the first time, I said, you can't come on a Saturday, because I gotta have this trailer so I can put the trash in it for the weekend. And he kept coming. So I finally told him that, you know, that as far as I was concerned, that was non-recycled trash, it is not household trash. You have to pay for it. He called me a Trumpist, and out the door he went, and I guess he called the code enforcement officer since then, because she called him, talked to me about it, and I explained it to him. He emailed back since, so.
Any questions to the board?
Thank you.
Town manager updates.
All right, so as far as the board and the workshops, hoping we can continue that momentum. And looking at November 20th, 5 PM, to the wastewater treatment facility, of interest to the board.
You guys should definitely, if you haven't been in there.
Well, no, me.
Is that good for you, Scott? Going to?
Me too.
All right, and then Rabbit Valley Road. So the Rabbit Valley Road project that has just been completed. And we have a little bit of money left over. I'm telling you about it.
Got it now.
So the, trying to find my note here, now I look like I'm losing my mind. All right, so we had about $164,000 left over because the whole project ended up being a little bit less expensive than anticipated. So what I'm asking of the state at the suggestion of the engineer is to see if we could use that $164,000 towards either the rest of Rabbit Valley Road next year with, part of the road bond, or as part of, say, East Oxford Road for one of the stream, the box culverts. So I sent that request today to find, to get an answer. So if the state says that we can do that, then I think that'd be great. Otherwise, we'll be returning some money, and that's okay too, I suppose. So excited about that. And so far, I've driven down it a handful of times. I think the road looks great now. The curving is nice. That big rainstorm we had, it actually drained the way it was supposed to. And
I went up there before and all the water was running downhill, so it's supposed
so,
The
and
question is, was it going in?
It runs down here every time it rains.
to. Oh, that's it.
yeah, geez.
No, all the manholes have been working great. This time of year, obviously, always have an issue with leaves, but other than that, it's fine.
And I have gotten some feedback from the public too, that they've been, pleased with it, so that's good to hear. Also, I want to congratulate Shane Thomas, he's our new code enforcement officer, we're excited to be working with him, and he's working on, getting settled, he's been working with Colleen a lot, we're pretty lucky to have some pretty good resources in the office here and moving forward, so.
I would like to thank you for hiring
Wow.
He's not kidding.
I know.
Wow.
So welcome Shane and congratulations.
sir.
And then the Welchville Dam, just some thoughts, quick notes on that. So VHB, our engineer, Dave Cloutier, that we've been using for that project, I spoke to him on the 16th. He advised the grade controls are performing within the standards of the permit and at the levels that we expected. Water levels, even with the lack of rain, water levels remain high. And now with the water level being controlled by the grade controls and not the dam, people need to expect that the water levels are gonna stay where like what you're seeing right now, even through the winter, because we're not gonna be draining anything down by opening the gates, because we can't. So, I did ask the town clerk to put out a thing on the internet, on the website and stuff, just advising people, hey, FYI, if you have property on the ponds, please, address accordingly your docks and so forth, so you don't have problems. He's doing his final water level monitoring check today, so it's probably completed by now, obviously. And he will then come back to do next year's water level monitoring, June to October. I did include in here just a graph that he put together, which I thought was kind of interesting. On the top of it, you have what it is upstream before the grade controls, and then you have what it looks like after the grade control. Obviously, that water level is significantly down, but the water level prior to the grade controls is a little higher. So all in all, they seem to be working, and when I've been down there a couple of times, they've made a couple of adjustments, and I don't know, so far so good. I was a little skeptical, it's the thought process of how that works, but I think it's working good. So those are exciting things, and I will have more as we get closer to within a couple of months here. I'm hoping to have some stuff from the engineer to be able to discuss about next year's road bond related project. So we can get cracking on that stuff. That's what I got.
Questions? All good? Selectmen items.
See, we had some crack sealing done.
There's more to be done.
I see Whittemore and Robertson Hill. Are we doing any other roads this year?
This year I did Whittemore, Robinson Hill, and we're gonna do Allen Hill from Swamp Road to 120.
question the other day, someone brought up at town meeting, a resident, I apologize, I don't know who the gentleman was. But he had asked about the town's plans in the future for the old fire station up here. I'm pretty sure it's just being used for storage right now, is what everything was told.
Mhm.
Any thought, and nothing to, come up with tonight, but just thoughts as far as future, is that what we're just gonna do, keep holding on for storage, or I actually think he made a reference that it would affect property taxes on this end of town if we actually had a fire truck here. I don't know if that's true or not, I just remember him saying that. I don't know, I'm just kind of bringing that topic up.
Well, that's the fire chief to be next meeting and talk about it. That's all I can plan.
Yeah, no agenda, just, they were talking about it and see what the plans were.
Anybody else?
Good.
Sign warrants.
And remember, to add 50. Did you make it?
Everybody's leaving. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. I'll get kicked out.
Before you get kicked out.
I don't care. See you guys.
Have a good night.
Change clothes and change seasons. I don't know. What came out this week, or something.
Hey Lois,
Yeah.
you're making us all go deaf with that.
Your thing's buzzing.
I'm not going deaf, but the dogs next door are barking.
Yep. You're screeching.
It's not. Now they're going.
Yep.
Are you buzzing?
It ain't even on.
You sure?
Yeah,
Well,
well, maybe, yeah.
The dog whistle.
I don't know.
They're coming down. There they come.
I don't know. It isn't in my ear, I don't know what it's doing. Basically.
It's all good, Lois. It's all good.
Oh my.
No worries. We're not used to high pitch.
I just can't imagine paying.
I'll sign next to
Hey, whatever.
I keep remembering my mother.
Yes.
That guy, very nice. He finally said, I guess you don't think
Yeah, that's next one. That's what we gotta get, right, you know?
For that, I just started bring sign.
I didn't prepare enough. Your name is on the file prepared.
Mr. Monday, prepared that
It is,
for.
it's true. Well, here's, have a good one. They say.
Can I just see a picture of the wall, guys? Wall.
No, that was it, the one in here, the terrible picture.
Yeah, actually, thank you for bringing up on the picture of that wall. Cause I was just so black.
It looks like a concrete wall.
Well,
Yeah, it's right there.
maybe.
Better.
Oh, you're talking about the transfer station.
Yeah, well,
This is what's about. This is on the back. Yeah, it's down back.
Down back.
Yes. They want it to be tall.
Wow.
We need to go pick up there.
Well, we,
Well, they
we,
keep going.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
We went into that, we couldn't fill the. Well, then it was $128,000. You can use the technology things, many things. No, I don't know, I think they need to start looking at the bigger picture too. That's just mine.
She turns 55
And
in
it,
it.
and.
It's just about
That's not a mention.
I give up. I'm good 55.
Most of those people do not face it. But we get most of
You
our
can't be
money
that much older.
from the little guys on everything.
Joints on.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott used to have long curly hair too.
I know, I took it up, so I can't hear you. I know you're behind me.
If I let my hand go, that's not yes. It'd be like, whoa.
I was never.
Oh, yeah. He did.
No, you.
What? That I'm laughing at 62? I think it's great.
All right.
No, no.
Yeah,
really.
well, have a
Is he
good
winning?
winter, everybody.
You too.
Be safe. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the good things in between. Yeah. I'm coming. Make sure I got my key.
You haven't announced it yet, right?
I'm trying to get Floyd to throw me out.
oh, you gotta go, bud, sorry, I didn't tell you that.
Thank you, Floyd.
Make a motion, we sign 40 through 49 and 50. Actually, so 40 through 50.
All in favor?
Second, all in favor? So, executive session, I don't know where. I'm making a motion to go into executive session for real estate purposes pursuant to NRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Section 456. C. Second. All those in favor? Vote. So if you're waiting to see if there's a vote after.
Well, it's for the piece of land we were looking at. I was just hanging around to see if there was any question you wanted to ask.
So the board's gonna discuss the offer that we have on the table, and then they will go back into open session after that discussion, if you'd like to come back in afterwards.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I just figured if you had any questions for me.
So if we do have some questions, we can come and get you.
Yeah, wanna hang out in the lobby?
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll just get out.
All right.